Cancer, how are you? Let's do a reading for your current energy, shall we? As always, please take what works, leave what doesn't. We all know who we are in the story. Now, I sure appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. And if you appreciate what I do here, help me out. Hit that like button. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really makes a difference to my channel. And I would love to see my channel continue to grow. So let's see what's going on for all of my Cancers for the next 7 to 10 days. Grateful, thankful for the messages, always. All right, one more shuffle. All right, I did see that Knight of Wands. Some of you may need to just kind of go out and, have a good time. All right, it's okay to have fun, Cancer. It's okay to go do something and explore new territory. All right, especially if you need to kind of, ground yourself and get some, some new territory, new eye candy, just new experiences. Don't be afraid to go somewhere, all right? Because I feel like it would do a lot of you guys a lot of good. All right, let's see what's going on, though, based on the cards. We do have the Death card coming in here reversed. All right, so, again, taking some space, trying to gain some perspective, and kind of see things from another angle wouldn't be a bad thing, all right? Because with this Death card, I feel as if you're at a point where something has to end, all right? Either something has to end or it's got to change, all right? How do you want to handle this, Because I feel like you can't keep going in the direction you are going in because you're just running into roadblocks, all right? So I think you've got to take a stand. I think you've got to start seeing things. Again, here's this perspective, with the Hanged Man energy, and kind of see things a little differently. And when we see things a little differently, then, the things in front of us start to change, right? But you are dealing with the situation here. We have the Star card reversed. We have the Five of Wands reversed. Where you just feel as if, you're just kind of not in the place where, you're in alignment with other people. That's okay too, all right? And again, there is a situation that has to shift. It has to change. And I keep seeing, how you look at things, is how things are going to be. So if you look at things differently, then the things you are looking at are going to be different. And I think that's a real important message for you this week, how you see things, all right? We do have the Chariot card up here reversed. This is a block. This is a lot of distractions. This is you not being very clear. This is you, needing, again, to see the path in front of you and not all of the things around you. So really, I feel like your core message here is about how you are seeing things, how you are perceiving things, how things have to be and how things you want them to be. We've got to move from a place of clarity, of grounded stability in order for us to make good decisions and to feel good about the steps we're taking moving forward. Now, we do have the Page of Swords coming in here at the base of what's going on, and I feel like, you're stirring inside, wanting to make a direction, wanting to make a move, yet, you're not doing it. And that's this Death card. It's just like, something has to change. Either something has to come to an end or it's got to shift, and you need to really understand that sometimes, we have to make the changes that are permanent, all right? And I feel like there is something that you want to do here. We have the Judgment card also coming in with this Death card, two very similar type of energies. This is you wanting to have another chance. It says, no, it's over. We've got to change. This is a block that you are doing with. Either you change or the situation is going to cause it to change. So, you have got to start to be a little bit more flexible. And like I said at the very beginning, maybe you need to go out and see life a little differently, explore something, have some fun, so that you can remember what it is that life is all about. Because I'm getting stodgy. This isn't a word I normally use, but it's like you're a little stodgy right now, and it's just like, don't be so dense. Don't be so thick. Don't be so, immovable, especially with this Chariot card here, because it says, you need to shift. You need to unblock whatever it is that is blocking you and, get going. You got to trust the road in front of you. Now we do have the King of Swords and I have the Queen of Wands, so, this could be a situation between you and somebody that you are dealing with, or it could be somebody who is telling you what you need to do and you don't want to hear it, it could be me, it's just like, gosh, I don't want to hear what it is that's really needs to happen here, but, this King of Swords, he speaks a lot of truth. He's got a lot of wisdom. He knows what he's talking about, and sometimes, that's a hard pill to swallow when somebody comes out and says, listen, you're being really, really stubborn. You're being stodgy. You're being stuck, and here the Chariot card says you're stuck. Let's get out of this place and, try to be a little bit more open-minded. All right, let's start to see things a little differently. And then with this Queen of Wands energy, we start to focus more on our happiness. We start to focus on things that are really good for us, and if we are holding on to something that we don't want to let go of, here's the Temperance card, final outcome, it's not working, all right? And, it doesn't matter how much you try, this is not going to change until you change. So again, Cancer, how you look at things and is how things are going to be, all right? The way you look at something, if you look at it differently, then it will be different. And that's what this Hanged Man wants you to look at. It's just like, you have played the martyr. You have done everything. It's all you, right? Blah, 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 blah. But the Hanged Man says, well, let's look at things from another angle. All right, and let's start to look at things from over here, and maybe you will start to see that, yeah, there has been a real block. There has been something that has been holding you back, and it's something you haven't wanted to let go of, yet you need to let go of it. Here's the Judgment card. It's saying, this isn't going to help, and, hanging on to something isn't going to bring whatever this is to an end. The card after the Judgment is the World card, all right? This cycle needs to end. It wants to end, and it's just like, I'm gonna hang on to this, as long as I can, but it's not doing you any good. Let's look at the bottom of the deck. We have the Knight of Cups. It could be around a relationship. It could be around something that, you have to look at a little bit more serious. The Knight of Cups says, well, I don't want to kind of commit myself, because he is reversed. And it's just like, well, maybe you need to make a commitment to finally bring something to an end so that you can finally leap forward. All right. So again, how you look at things. All right. You have to start looking at things from a new perspective, from a different angle, from one that is more grounded. All right. And that's when you will find the change. So that's what I've got for you, Cancer. Please take what works, leave what doesn't. I think the message was really pretty clear for you guys. I sure appreciate each and every one of you. And if you appreciate me, hit that like button, all right? With that being said, be happy, be healthy, be kind, and make the change, all right? Look at things differently, Cancer. It's all good, all right? Bye now.